are we good to go? It's audio here, ready to go. Man. Vipe with the first comment says, bruh, what can I say about these ridiculous ass countdown screens? You know what? Enjoy the view, enjoy the music, Vipe. Just sit back, chill. All right. It's a stream. It's not a regular video. It's a stream. Plus, I had like a really long day and jumped through a whole bunch of hoops. And I got to jump through some more hoops later. So literally that countdown was me fitting in food because that's how busy I've been today. It definitely has a practical use today. Nope, not mentally preparing. I was physically preparing. Yo, what up, Genosis? Sebastian Brock. Hello, what is going on? So, all right, we're back. We're streaming. I'm beating Vipe to his own game. So I want to hear that bullshit later about, hey, Trenton, I haven't seen anything from you. You haven't uploaded yet. Hey, I'm beating you to it. All right, get it out the way. You've been making my life hard, man, because you stream at 7 o'clock and I get home at 6 and then I be trying to like get stuff together or whatever. But today I was like, nah, I'll just go ahead and go first. Well, 6 o'clock your time, but in my time it's 7 o'clock. So you don't be giving me a lot of room, man. I'm just messing with you, Vipe. But yeah, here we are back. Road to the Vision Pro. Hopefully by this time next week, the pre-order will be locked in. We should be good to go. But today we're going to talk about some pre-order details. Hang out. It's Friday. End of the work week. Thank goodness. But let's see here. Yep. Technically T says, I'll be on the pre-order live stream. I'm picking one up. Wait. Time out. T, are you joining the fold? Are you coming over to the Vision Pro side? Don't be messing with me, man. Like, if that is true, then welcome. if you are getting one too, if you're participating in one too, I swear to God, because T was out here talking about how he's not getting one and saying all this good shit on Twitter, probably making jokes or some shit. I don't believe him. See, can't trust T out here, man. Can't trust T. Ain't no way. You might find a way. Don't never say ain't no way, because you already know how this goes, especially in the tech community. Every single time one of us says, no, we ain't gonna get it, somehow we find a way to get it. And the vice versa goes when you say, I'm gonna get it. And then all of a sudden, nah, I'm not gonna get it. So that's how it is in the tech community. We always do the opposite of what we say we're gonna do. Consumer Compute says, hello. Hey, how's it going? Let's see. I have never had a desire for anything VR, AR. I can respect it. You know, I'm definitely not trying to, jump down anybody's throats about it or whatnot. I know I want it because I just want it and I'm into it. So, hey, everybody has what they're into, what they're not into, and all that stuff. So if I go back to my profile, because I put a tweet up earlier, you know what? I read enough of everybody else's tweets. So for once, I'm gonna put my own tweet up. And we're gonna go off of that because that's what actually came through my email and everything. So just give me a second and we can be rocking and rolling from here. All right. So as you guys can see up here on the screen, I tweeted out this morning, because Apple sent me an email and probably everybody else that was looking for the Vision Pro. Vision Pro pre-order tips from Apple. Have an iPhone or an iPad with Face ID nearby. So a lot of people are worried about basically like if you don't, let's say you don't have an iPhone with Face ID on there, uh, or they're making jokes like, oh, if you got an iPhone SE, I highly doubt that there's anybody with an iPhone SE as their main phone and they're still using like the traditional iPad and they have like no Face ID around. I find that hard to believe. I find that so hard to believe. I really do. But hey, maybe it's possible. Maybe somebody just chose not to have Face ID, but that's what Apple is doing with the setup. So when you order Apple Vision Pro, you will need to scan your face with an iPhone or iPad with Face ID. This helps us determine the right size, light seal, and headbands, which work together to give you a precise fit. Now, at first, I was kind of on the train of, hey, just let me buy it. Like I could figure it out on my own. However, I believe with it being in limited quantities and it's the first launch and all that stuff, I think Apple wants to reduce any amount of, hey, I want to return this because it doesn't fit type of deals or any sort of like cancellations or orders or whatnot. Cause I really sat there and I kind of thought about, I'm like, well, when you think about it from a customer aspect, first time product, at least if you do the scan and they get it as close as possible, it probably reduces you needing to go into an Apple store. Also, there are not Apple stores in every single part of the country. There's a lot of Apple stores, but there are some people that got to drive 2 or 3 hours to an Apple store. So if doing the Face ID thing, scanning your face, does get you the right stuff and it all fits and it all works out, then that's a minor inconvenience to have like a good fit. It's kind of like I don't know if anybody's played like, football or baseball where like let's say you got your hand, you want to get your hand measured for like the right glove and stuff and they have like these little guides and stuff. They used to have like it was like paper that you could cut out and you would put your hand on there, you would measure to see how big your hand is, what size glove you would need. Well, if you could take your phone and point it at your hand and it would just scan your hand size, or I know like they got it where if you buy shoes, they got apps and stuff where you can scan your foot to see what size foot you have and if it'll fit inside the shoe. So that's what I kind of think of when I look at that. But yeah, I know some people kind of freaked out because it's adding on to the ordering process and whatnot. However, if you really think about it, this is kind of good news as well because what was one of the concerns that a lot of people had when it came to pre-ordering stuff? Bots. So a lot of people are worried about bots and people going in there and trying to buy up the supply and doing all this, that, or whatever. Well, if you got to register your face with Face ID, that's an extra step that a bot can't do. Or at least, anybody that's trying to do any extra BS or whatever shouldn't be able to do that. Like, could you imagine, like, hey, you're putting in an order, scan your face, do that. Then you do another order, scan your face, do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, to a certain degree, I know it sucks. It adds on an extra layer of whatever. But to me, that's kind of like a good intervention right there. So you don't have to worry about a whole bunch of bots messing up stuff or whatever. So that's just the way I look at it. Let's see. Make sure your Apple Store app is up to date. For the face scan, you'll need the latest version of the Apple Store app, which became available on January 11th. So it became available yesterday. If you guys are going to order this, make sure you go into your phone, make sure your app is updated. Make probably even make sure that iOS is updated just to make sure you are good all the way through. And that'll help you out. So you can either use an iPhone or you can use an iPad that has Face ID. And it says, have your vision. This is for people who need prescriptions or this prescription lenses. Have your vision prescription handy because Apple Vision Pro is designed to be worn without glasses. We partner with Zeiss to create custom optical inserts that accommodate most prescriptions. When you order, we will ask a few quick questions to find out if you need optical inserts. If you do, you'll upload a valid, unexpired prescription from a US eye care professional after checkout. Now, this is where I'll give Apple a little bit of pushback because we don't know which prescriptions are supported right now. And now would be the time for Apple to publish that list of prescriptions that they're going to support ahead of time. I don't know if they did that already. Let me check back through the email because I did kind of rush through and there was like screenshots and stuff. So let me see. Let's check this out from Apple because I see they got a number one there. So there might be some sort of detail. All right. So it says valid prescription required. Not all prescriptions are supported. Vision correction accessories are sold separately. Now, here's the crazy part. That's all they say for the prescription. They have like this super long thing about the Apple card and monthly payments and financing and all of that information or whatnot. All about the Apple card, all about all that extra stuff. But they only have one line of information for prescriptions. So honestly, what Apple should do is maybe they have this in the works, but at least I say by next Monday or Tuesday, they should have a published list of prescriptions that they support that will be available at launch. Because I wonder if you could possibly either miss out or your stuff would be delayed. I mean, you got like a 2 week lead time or whatnot before it's supposed to come out, but you should know this ahead of time. You shouldn't have to go pre-order, go through their questions, then get into the process, and then they say, "Oh, well, yeah, your prescription, we don't support that." It says it supports most, but not all. So I think that at least should be published. I mean, because at this point, you already got the patents, you're already coming out with the product or whatnot. Like, I don't think putting that information out there would really hurt too much. But yeah. So yeah, unexpired prescription has to be valid. I don't even know how all that stuff works because I've never had glasses before. So maybe that's like an extra step for people who do have glasses. And that's pretty much the only information that we got from there. Now, the other thing is make sure if you're using a credit card to order this or debit card or however, whatever payment method, make sure you have that stuff already. Like you already have like a card set up and your Apple wallet and all that stuff. Make sure you have all of that in there because the last thing you want to be doing is going in to go hit pay. And then there's that whole, hey, enter in all of your card information one by one by one. That takes extra time. You might miss out or maybe the dates might slip, but that's basically the the way you should kind of go about it. So whew. Let's see. I said I would not get the Z Fold 5. I caved. Man, you could have bought my Z Fold 5. Hey, but it's all good. Welcome to the Z Fold 5 family. Janosa says my nearest Apple store is 4 hours away. Yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, that kind of makes sense just to, take your phone, hey, do the scan, and then Apple says, hey, we'll figure it out for you. That's not bad at all. Prepare both just in case one doesn't work. Absolutely. Trey says I have like 3 Apple stores within 10 miles. Yeah, so I have One, two. I have 3 Apple stores within 20 miles. So, yeah, there are certain parts of the country where there is an Apple store nearby, but there are trust me, there are states there are states that don't have an Apple store anywhere nearby where people live or whatnot. I think Jason from, Painfully Honest Tech, he was saying where he stayed out at, he has to drive, like, one way 2 to 3 hours to get to an Apple store. So yeah, they're not everywhere. Hopefully I can make an appointment to test it out. Yeah, that's the other thing. So like if you have an Apple store nearby, if I were you, I would make sure as soon as those appointments are supposed to drop, and I think the appointments are supposed to start on February 2nd. So maybe I don't know if you set the appointments up on pre-order day or after pre-order day, but whenever you can set them up, do it early because I I believe that there's going to be more people who go to the Apple store just to try it, just to wear it, just to say, "Hey, I did the thing," because that doesn't cost anything. And those lists are just going to be full for probably like at least the first 2 weeks of it being out. And then, of course, after a while, it's going to slowly start to die down a little bit. But yeah, that initial run, it'll probably be a lot of people packed in there. Just people just being curious or whatnot. Oh, okay. This was a few months ago. Gotcha. Janosa says, "Yep, one way, 4 hours for me." Man, I could like for me, that'd be like me driving from Cleveland to Cincinnati to go to an Apple store. That is too far. Yeah, yeah, nah. Actually, I think Cincinnati is like 3 hour. Well, is it 3 hours? Maybe 3.5 hours. Almost four. So yeah, that'd be like me driving from Cleveland to Cincinnati just to go to the Apple store and then driving all the way back up here. So yeah, that is a no go. But yeah, basically that's where we're at. Uh, uh, Shameless plug. You guys want to donate to the channel or to the Vision Pro, you guys can hit the super chat button. If you're watching a replay, you can hit super thanks, or you can do a donation via Cash App, which should be in my description. If not, I'll add it there later. But yeah, that's pretty much where we're going and kind of just rolling from there. I've been kind of sitting there thinking about it between the whole like veterans discount thing and the taxes and all that. And I'm still somewhat confident that I'm just like right on the edge. Like if I pour the rest of the money I got into there, like of my own money or whatnot. So, hey, if we get a little bit closer, cool. If not, yeah, I'll find something to sell to the Salvation Army or something. I don't know, but that's basically where we're kind of rolling from there. Otherwise, as far as other tech news, not really too much else going on. I know CES just wrapped up and everybody saw like to me it was like the biggest news of CES, which I didn't completely understand, was the Rabbit R1. I can understand like the purpose of like having like a little mini AI box in your pocket if you don't want to carry a phone or something, but I just it didn't I didn't see the excitement behind it, you know? Like, it wasn't one thing that, you look at and you say, "Oh, man, I wanna be blown away." For me, it's probably not gonna work out. But for a lot of people, let's say, who don't have a phone or don't wanna have a smartphone and they wanna keep things separate, and let's say you want your little, R1 that you have on you, you have, like, your flip phone in the left hand, or you wanna separate the 2, then that probably makes sense. It might even make sense if this is like a communication device that you give to a kid that doesn't have a phone line attached to it, because a lot of times I'll see where, you got kids with phones or kids, with other devices that don't have a SIM card, don't have a number attached to it. However, usually those phones are 400, 500, $600. And honestly, if you say, hey, well, this thing's $200, you can still communicate with me and still have everything that you need in something smaller, but it costs less. That kind of makes more sense. It also makes more sense if you look at other countries or other developing countries where if it's going to be 199 over there, that's probably beating the price of some regular phones that you're going to see over there or anything else that might be more expensive. So, like I said, I don't see the complete allure to it, but I could kind of understand where you could go down that road to a certain degree. Let's see. You know what sucks? You invite bypassing rich jokes with Vision Pro. Uh, but see here's the thing. Vipe is still richer than me because Vipe has way more stuff than I have. Like we'll probably be one on one with the whole, Vision Pro thing, but that he's got a whole what Oculus or MetaQuest or whatever he's not using. Dude's got so much stuff. His chair costs more than my entire setup. So I ain't even close to tossing rich jokes with him. If anything, Vipe and T, they need to be trading rich jokes with the stuff that they be doing. See there what Steph says. Greetings from Spain. 0.30 at night here. Oh man. It is in the middle of the night for y'all. Yep. This property owning mofo. Yeah. And here, yeah, I own a property, right? I own that, but I own that with someone else. So basically I'm kind of just the manager there or whatnot. And basically, if you were to split that in half, that's essentially your car. You got to remember, property here in Cleveland is cheap. It is super duper ridiculously cheap. Hey, Josh, what's going on? Sounds like his stuff got stuff. Yeah, look, Vibe stuff got stuff. He's over here making espressos and coffees and stuff at home. Josh, you already know he's about to get that coffee grinder. It's coming. He's gonna be sitting there just grinding. He might even get one with a hand crank on there, kind of like you used to do with the old pencil sharpeners. He's just gonna be grinding that coffee away. Yep. Nah, man, don't let Vite fool you, man. That man rich. That man has more net worth than those sunglasses and shoes that he has sitting behind him than I got at all. So I don't want to hear it. Shoot. Consumer Compute says, man, the rabbit is a personal assistant, but smarter. Did you see the keynote? This thing put Alexa, Siri, and Google to shame. I didn't see the keynote. I actually have to go back and watch it. I was more so kind of just like, yeah, I was just news cruising through like the CES stuff. And then a whole bunch of stuff popped up about that product and everything that was going on with that. But yeah, I gotta take a look more into it. But I just I don't know. I currently don't have a use for it with the stuff that I have. Yes, everything puts her to shame. All right, so here's a quick story. Uh I asked her which quarterback has the most interceptions of all time. Like which quarterback has thrown the most interceptions of all time? You know what Siri did? Siri called somebody in my phone. That's what she did. See, I activated her, but anyway, she called somebody in my phone. And I'm like, no, stop. Don't. What I asked for which quarterback in the NFL has thrown the most interceptions of all time. And she failed. And then, of course, I asked Google Assistant, and Google Assistant found it out before I could even finish saying the actual phrase. So, yes, everything puts her to shame. Alexa puts her to shame. The dog down the street puts her to shame. It's just, she is so bad. She is so terrible. See, we need more competition after Apple Vision Pro, maybe Samsung and Google in 2025. Oh, don't worry. The competition's already coming. There is a VR AR headset coming from Sony that was announced, and I think it's supposed to be powered by the latest and greatest new. I don't even know what some of these chips are called anymore. I don't know if it's Snapdragon, Dimensity, Puff the Magic Dragon, Captain Planet. I don't know what half of the stuff is even named anymore, but it's supposed to rival the Vision Pro, at least as far as some of the specs and having like the 4K resolution in both eyes and the support for all that stuff. So that stuff is coming. And to be really, 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 really honest, because there's been like this whole commentary of why does the Vision Pro exist? Well, what problem does it solve? Well, here's the thing. And I'll honestly, I'll say this. When VR and AR or whatnot kind of was coming around, or I already know it's been around for a while, but when people were talking about it in the past couple of years, it was mostly like HTC Vive and Meta and probably some other companies and the names I don't remember. And back then, people were like, well, yeah, I'm not going to spend that much money. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Like basically there was a whole bunch of people saying, I don't know. And what's the point of it or whatever. Right. So there were a lot of people who were downplaying the HoloLens from Microsoft, badass VR device when you look at the specs and all of what it could do. There are a lot of people downplaying Meta. There are a lot of people downplaying the Meta Pro, a lot of people downplaying the HTC Vive. And there's all this blah, 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 whatever, whatever, yada, yada, whatever, whatever. Right? Everybody was just shooting it down out the air. We don't care, whatever. Apple comes along and they say, hey, we're going to make a Vision Pro headset. And then there was the price, and then there was like the presentation. And then all of a sudden, magically out of nowhere, everybody was like, "Oh no, you can go get a Meta Quest for $500. You can go get this for cheaper. You can go get this. Oh, well, look at the HoloLens and look at that." So like everything that everybody literally shat on over the past 3 to 4 years, all of a sudden when Apple decided to come out with the Vision Pro, everyone became fans of all of the stuff that was already out there and started saying, yo, get this instead. Here's the example, blah, 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 blah. But by Apple coming out with the Vision Pro, and then now Sony coming out with its version, and now all these other companies that are going to start racing to beat the Apple Vision Pro and to undercut the Vision Pro, this is a good thing for people who are into VR and AR stuff, because there's going to be so many companies that are going to want to try and stick it to Apple that they're going to come out with better equipment and software and prices and all that stuff. And people who wanted that stuff, they're going to have more choices, and that industry is probably going to flourish a little bit more. And that's the good thing about competition, is that we win. Us, the customers, the consumers, we win from competition. Same thing in the phone arena. Let's say Apple comes out with some phone or whatever, and it's, 1,200 bucks or something like that. I get it. It's not always the best thing or whatnot, but whenever Apple comes out with something, for whatever reason, it lights a fire under all of these other companies to step up and throw even more stuff inside of their phones than was already there. And that's why you see a lot of these phones where they're throwing every single thing in the kitchen sink, and they're making it like a phone nerd's wet dream or whatnot. You got all this crazy stuff or whatever, whatever, whatever. And that breeds competition. So on one hand, we can hate on Apple. On the other hand, we can say, you know what? They did that and other companies responded to them. We're winning. We are absolutely winning. So that's just the way I look at it. Uh, she sets timers pretty good. Sometimes, sometimes she does. Other times it's like, yeah, I don't know. That link's from Rabbit YouTube pages. Oh, okay. How at your boy says, will they make a Vision Pro SE? They, I believe they will. I just don't believe it's going to be this year. What I believe is they'll have the Vision Pro, and you know, I kind of find it hilarious when people are like, oh, you're just going to be the test rabbit, you're going to be the guinea pig. Ah, well, hey, somebody has to do it, right? But we're basically the Vision Pro people are probably going to either make or break it. But at the same time, I think Apple has enough money wrapped up into it to where they're going to do a long play with this. So I think Apple already is just like, you know what? We've made a limited amount of these. We're going to have people test them, run them, or whatever. Probably somewhere, I would say, in between Vision Pro 2, they might just go ahead and just shrink it down to a SE. And that would be interesting to see what their SE, or maybe it's just Apple Vision. If they just say you got the Apple Vision Pro, then you got Apple Vision, then you see how Apple Vision compares to like a Meta Quest or some of the other headsets. So I think that is going to come because it makes sense to go expensive and slowly go down in price than it does to start off cheap and then move your way up. So I think that will happen for sure. Especially if it works out because they've done it in almost every other arena when it comes to their products. Like for the most part, a lot of their products started off expensive in comparison and then they kind of got cheaper. I think the only things that started off expensive and then got more expensive for what they were like the AirPods. So like, they came out with the AirPods, then they came out with the AirPods Pro, which was like the more expensive version. So this time I think they're going to go Vision Pro. That's going to be at least a good year and a half. And then maybe about 2 years from now, maybe you look at Apple Vision Pro 2 and now introducing Apple Vision. So we'll see. A lot of people are kind of up and down about it because some people are saying, well, it's canceled. Some people say, well, it's pushed back. And honestly, we don't know. Like nobody really knows until Apple actually makes a move. I mean, how many different times do we have all these different theories about what Apple is going to do just for them to turn around and just be like, oh, yeah, well, uh, we're doing this and we're doing it now, so nobody truly knows until Apple decides to make that decision. But for me, like I said, I am interested in seeing where the Vision Pro goes. I'm also interested in seeing what other companies make in competition to the Vision Pro. And I kind of like to see that back and forth going between companies. Apple comes out with something, and then another company comes out with something, and then maybe Apple looks at what the other company comes out with and says, hey, we want that too, and then they implement it, and then the other company looks back at Apple and says, well, you know what, we still want to beat you, so now we're going to do this. Totally for it. Like I said, you want, as a consumer, you want companies to fight each other to get your hard-earned money. When it's just one company or maybe just two companies and they really don't have to fight for anything, or they really don't have to compete, then that's when they get lazy. That's when you start seeing stuff just, fall off and not be that well. But if you can walk in somewhere and there's like 10 different options, you can really choose, and then the companies really have to make something compelling to either keep you or to get you for that first time. So, hey, I'm with it. I'm all down there for it and everything. So, whew, man, we are 30, well, almost 40 minutes into this. So, what do you guys got going on this evening, or how's everybody going for the doing for the weekend? All I know is, look, for those of you out there that like NFL football and you want to go see that wild card game with the Chiefs, I ain't gonna tell you what to do with your life or whatever, but hey, bundle up. Like I'm I'm a little surprised the NFL hasn't said, "Yo, we're moving that game," or maybe I missed the news or something. But when they said it was going to be -30 wind chill, and that you need to cover absolutely 100% from head to toe, that is crazy. CJ says, "How long do you think it will take for AR glasses to replace laptops?" Years. It's going to take years to actually replace laptops. And I might even say a decade because it depends on the AR glasses because right now no one can really agree on anything right now, but let's just say we get AR glasses. And when I say AR glasses, I'm talking about glasses that, since everybody likes to use this reference, like, all right, say we get the technology to have the glasses be like this. Like this, you put these glasses on and that's supposed to be your computer. Okay? Look at how small the framing is for these glasses. And this is the expectation. The expectation is for the glasses to be this size. Even some of the people who are wearing the glasses that are basically just projecting an image and there's no like real smart capability or anything like that. Even the ones who are looking at those glasses are saying that those are too thick. So I want you to imagine that. I want you to imagine how on earth a company is going to be able to fit a battery, a power source, and a display module of some sort inside of these glasses and then still have the ability to connect controllers and do this and do that and have a long battery life. Like there's a lot of practicality that needs to exist for that to even happen, and the cost and all that stuff associated. So I don't think that what people want, I don't think they're going to get that anytime soon. So that's one barrier to how long is it going to take to for the glasses to replace laptops. Two, people are stubborn. People are stubborn because anytime you have a brand new technology, people just don't automatically flock to it. We as tech people, we flock to it. IT people and people in the industry, we all flock to that stuff. You still got people out here using technology from like 15, 16 years ago. You know, you got people out there using phones and all this other stuff from 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. So it's going to take even longer for the population to adapt to it or even afford it or even use it. So that's why I say it's going to be years, literally years. You're going to have tons of people that come out and say, "Well, hey, you know what? I don't need the newest thing. I'm used to my laptop and my keyboard. I'm just going to use that until it phases out." And that's kind of like where we're at. Let's see. What do you think? Do you think the iPad will die because of this technology? If you remember, the iPad Nanos were replaced I by Apple Watches. I don't think the iPad will die because there's still enough of a aging population. And just because you use an iPad, I'm not saying that you're aging, but there's enough of a older population that'll just pick up an iPad. Like straight up, they'll just pick up an iPad. The one thing that we love as human beings is we like to touch things and have, you know, physical interactions with stuff. So I think the iPad is still here to stay around for a long period of time. But what is gone, what's going to be gone, and this is happening with Apple and other companies, the days of these items flying off the shelves like they used to are gone. iPads are not going to sell like they sold before. iPhones really aren't going to sell like they were selling before. Because back in the day, yeah, you look at it, all these iPads sold because they were brand new, they were getting upgrades. But now an iPad from 4 years ago is the same as an iPad from today. So, like I said, you'll see a lower volume, but they're not disappearing anytime soon. 15, 16 years ago, we were cavemen. But I mean, for real though, I work with people. I see people every single day that if you look at the technology that's been out for the past 5 to 10 years, you have people out there that live in the US that can afford the technology. Some people got degrees, other people have higher education, and you still can't get them beyond a basic laptop, like a basic Windows laptop, a basic MacBook. They're barely functional with those. And then to say, all right, we're going to take the same technology, we're going to put it in glasses, and then people are going to wear this stuff, and then now forget the lap, they're going to have to relearn a whole new technology. There's just going to be a lot of people that are either going to refuse to do that or probably just don't want to do it. They may not even have like just the capability, but the technology will be there for the enthusiasts. The technology will be there for kids and for people who grow up into it. And that's just kind of how it works. It would take I would say like this upcoming generation, like whatever generation we're on now, generation Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie or whatever, to really adopt it. There's going to be a lot of people in this current climate that, unless you really, really, really make it user friendly, aren't going to figure it out, and they're going to get frustrated, and they're going to be like, "Hey, I want my old thing back." Remember how long it took for us, including me, to get off of the headphone jack on phones? It took people a minute just to accept that. So going to glasses, that's a huge change. So, but that's the other thing is we will we we as techies, we try to rush technology because we want it fast, right? We as technology people want the future today, and we will prepare ourselves to get ready for the future today. But when you look at the masses don't necessarily want the future today in most situations. A lot of people think they want the future today, but then when they get to it and they realize, oh, I wasn't ready for this. I don't know what I'm going to do. Perfect example, EVs. This is going to start a whole side rant. There are so many people that wanted EVs. Oh, I'm tired of paying for gas. Oh, I hate getting oil changes. Oh, I can't do this and blah 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 blah, whatever. And they rushed and they ran towards EVs, and a lot of these EVs also got rushed out, pushed out because, hey, EVs are supposed to magically save the planet all of a sudden. And then you started running into people who were starting to just learn that when you put a battery inside of a car, guess what happens to that battery when you charge it up and discharge it over a period of time? The battery loses its charge over time. Also, if you take a battery and you put it in cold weather, it gets severely reduced. If you take a battery and put it in the car and you tow something, oh yeah, your mileage is going to go into the toilet, into the tank. Oh, hey, you need to get this repaired or changed out, this, that, or whatever. All of these new problems started to arise from technology that people swore that they wanted today. And then now you see people reverting, saying, you know what? we don't want that technology right now. We want to go back to something a little bit more stable and something that we understand, because now we have a whole new set of problems that we never imagined before. But usually it's the tech people and the people making the technology that see this ahead of time and they say, look, if you want to be on the forefront of this stuff, you're going to have to be a part of the development of figuring this stuff out. But like I said, I've seen this happen too many times. And even with technology we have today, I know people, right? Let's say you got your iPhone 13, 14, 15, right? This this stuff is not new to us as techies. Like, this is stuff that we've already seen. Yeah, general population people who are now going into these phones. Let's say they're coming from an iPhone SE. They used to have a Touch ID button or whatever, and they were stuck. They were on the iPhone 6, 7, 8, 9, or I'm sorry, 6, 7, 8. Now this is their first time living without a button, using gestures. I got people that don't even know how to connect their iPhones to Wi-Fi on their own, can't even go on the internet and figure out how to connect their Bluetooth to their phone by themselves. We're going to put AR glasses in regular people's hands and they're going to figure that shit out. I'm sorry. It's I doubt it. Like, there's enough people out there that don't even have the basic skills at the current technology. And then we're going to take future technology and shove it in their face and be like, all right, here you go. Like, I don't see it. I don't see it. I get it. We live as futurists. Yeah, we absolutely do. The main problem with EVs, charge time. If we had 10 that could fill your battery in 10 minutes like a pump, I'll be okay with that. Yeah, that's the other thing is, so like if you go on a road trip or anything and they started testing this stuff out, they had somebody drive, I think a Tesla, from Chicago to New York. And they did the same test in a like gasoline powered car. With all the times that they had to charge and stop, it added 3 extra hours onto the trip. 3 hours extra is a lot of time when you're traveling, especially if it's a long distance. Now, if it's a short distance, if you live in like a good climate, if you got a lot of money to repair stuff and all this other, it's a good experience. I'm not saying that EVs are trash. What I'm saying is that there's what people expected and then there's reality, right? So there's expectation and then there's reality. And a lot of people live in expectation and they don't live in reality until it literally hits them dead in the face. Let's see. Maybe some solid state batteries, maybe. Yeah, we're still waiting on those. We've been hearing about solid state and graphene batteries forever. It's been years that we've been hearing about that, and we're still not there yet mainstream. Let's see. Fundamental problem. No one wants to wait 2 hours to fill up. Absolutely. Like, I don't want to wait 2 hours. I absolutely do not. I want to go just, like my current car. I can go to the gas station, put the pump in the car. I could put 18 gallons worth of gasoline in my car in about 5 minutes or less and gone right back on the road. Let's see, EVs versus hydrogen and fuel cells is very difficult to predict the future in technology. Yeah, it really is. It all comes down to what's going to be profitable, what people are actually going to use, and what's actually going to last. Consumer Compute says, again, I agree with you. So recently I bought the Lenovo i9 laptop and I had it for about a month and I thought I wanted it then, but I really started to think, wait a minute, this device has double batteries. How long is it going to last me down the road? So I returned it and bought a Mac Pro because at least if it breaks, it's 2 hours away and can go to the Apple store for one to get it fixed. Yeah, but so that's the other thing is, like I said, there's what's the word? Because there's theory, there's like theoretical stuff like what looks good on paper, and then there's the actuality. There's like the real life use case. And so, like, even with the Apple Vision Pro, I'll be the first one to say, on paper, there are some things that are concerning. There are some things that look promising, but it's all going to come to the reality and the practicality of it and where it makes sense and where you're going to draw the line in that entire arena of things. Just like anything else in life. Elvin says, just imagine what this tech will do in the future for handicapped people that can't walk, move. We got similar devices now, but these new ones seem to have more functions. Yeah, so there's there's multiple ways to go about it. There's going to be the avenue of where this is going to work, where this is not going to work, where this could be beneficial, where this could be a detriment, and that's the uh, that's the entire conversation, which is cool. I am down for us having a very long, drawn out conversation about that because that needs to happen. What I dislike though is the snap judgment, knee jerk reaction, and the fear, and it's more like the fear and pessimism. And maybe I have a little bit of that too, but it's kind of like mostly in tech where it's just like, be honest. When was the last time you heard about anyone being concerned about isolation when it came to VR headsets? I didn't hear that a single time when it came to the Meta Quest. Not a single person I remember brought up, "Oh, well, it's an isolating product. You're in isolation. How does this gonna affect humans and yada yada?" No, all I heard was, "Oh, VR headset, you can game, sign me up. Beam saver and all that stuff, sign me up." Everybody was like, no one was worrying, nobody was worried about isolation until the Apple Vision Pro came out and they're like, "Oh my God, how are you going to wear the Apple Vision Pro and be in the room with another human being? People need connection." Imagine the child that goes up to his father and is wearing an Apple Vision Pro and he doesn't see his eyes and he sees a pair of fake eyes. That's so isolating. I'm worried about the human race. What? Like, when did that become a thing? And that became a thing when they started talking about the Apple Vision Pro. Because I could tell you this right now. Uh, we have a Meta Quest. My kid wears the Meta Quest. My girlfriend wears the Meta Quest. And guess what? If my kid needs to go up and talk to his mom, he's just gonna go up there and talk to her. He's not gonna be like, "Oh, well, mom has a headset and I I don't know what to." No, he's just gonna tap her on the arm and be like, "Hey, I need something." She's like, "Oh, okay, cool." Take the headset off and go do the thing. like, trust me, kids are not gonna be staring you down like, "Eh, oh my God, you're not a human. What device is it?" No, you'd be perfectly fine whether it's a Vision Pro headset. If people have issues socially, right? If people can't handle phones, if people can't handle VR sets, if people can't handle being in another room with someone using a device, that's a personal problem. That is really not the problem of the device. I know people who can't pay attention and can't hold a conversation because their face is stuck in the damn phone. And the phone isn't even attached to the face. It's something you can literally put down. But that person doesn't have their own self control to do that. I know people who are stuck on TVs. It's not the tool, it's the person, you know? Just like we talk about, oh, well, hey, there might be somebody wearing a VR headset and they might be a distracted driver. Look, we already got people distracted from there's people who can't smoke and drive. There's people who's distracted from phones. There are people who are distracted from conversations in the car. You got people at the red light putting their lipstick on, doing their hair, looking in the mirror, shouting at the kids in the back seat. Like, trust me, The last thing you need to worry, oh, the isolation. No, that's just BS that people kind of just, throw out or whatever. It once again, it comes back to this whole thing where a lot of tech commentary now, once again, it's not people dreaming about tech, it's not people being excited about tech. It's all about well, how can this go wrong? you know, how is it gonna fail? What's the bad thing? What's the thing that we could talk about to blow up into such a crazy thing or whatever, right? And that's all we do. All we do is focus on it's all negative, it's all fear. It might as well be the late night news. Think about how many times you hear anything positive on that. So, yo, Gwendolyn G, what's up? I know Viper streaming right now, so we are probably going to go ahead and switch over to Viper Stream in a minute. Elvin, I agree with you. We are definitely in the age of assistive technology. Now it's much better than it was 10 years ago. And things like this can definitely bring much better quality of life. Exactly. Something that nobody is talking about. No one is talking about the benefits of that. And I guarantee you there's going to be somebody out there who has a disability that uses the Vision Pro, or they use another headset or any other technology related to it, that ends up doing some amazing shit with that stuff. And we're going to be like super impressed with it. I'm already super impressed on how, because I think we had somebody that had a disability at the last place I worked at, and they were using an iPhone, and how they were using the iPhone and they were getting around and doing all this stuff, which is it was just crazy. Like they had completely mastered it better than any other regular user. So I can only imagine what people are going to be able to do with this thing and all the other crazy shit. Let's see. Right with Tom says Vision Pro isn't isolating. Apple has painstakingly made it so it's not. Plus, in 5 years, this will be the norm. Yeah, so that's like I said, people are looking at things at face value, and they're just saying, "Oh, I see somebody with a headset on. I'm going to be weirded out." Trust me. The reason why people are saying that is because they're looking at strangers. If this is your best friend, if this is your mom, if this is your dad, if this is your son's brother's cousins, uncle, aunt, whatever, you're going to think about it differently. You're not going to be like, "Oh, dad, I don't want to talk to you with that." No, you're just going to talk to your dad. You're going to talk to your mom. Or guess what? You can take the headset off. The only thing that the pass-through thing is there for is it's an extra option. It's basically ability to where if you didn't want to take it off, you could still hold a conversation and see what's going on around you. That's what it's for. Nothing is stopping you from taking off the headset. I've watched people do this in person. Like same thing with my kid. I'd tell my kid something like, "Hey, come here. We got to do this or whatever." He might yell across the room, "What?" And I'm like, "Hey, let's do this." He'll take the headset off. He'll put it down. He'll go do whatever he needs to do. Or if we need to have a conversation, we'll have a conversation. Then he'll go back. He'll put his headset on. And he'll continue doing what he was doing before. It's there's really like a lot of just overthinking and very little practicality kind of thrown into it, and it's just kind of just funny to watch. uh Great, I can see the public service announcements. Only you can prevent VRing and driving. I'm telling you, man. Look, someone's gonna get caught on the freeway with a VR headset. You know, just like how the dudes got caught sleeping in the Teslas with the self-driving. It's always going to be one. It's always going to be one. And then people are going to come up, "Oh, Apple, how could you do this? Oh, Samsung, how could you do this? Oh, HTC, how could you enable someone?" Look, where there's a human, there is a way. Flat out. Straight up. That's the way it goes. lot of times I don't even blame the technology. I just look at people and I'm just like, Jesus, like, here we go. How are they going to mess this up? So why was my phone going off? Anyway. Oh, wait, remember, uh, without that is a dynamic island. Are you kidding? Now look at all of us. Yeah, like uh, dynamic island. Oh my God, I can't believe dynamic island. And then here we are, and it's just another thing that we're just used to. Ronald Spike says, "What content are you most excited for? The productivity element is why I'm buying. Hoping for some next level games. Been working from home for 3 years. Need to change it up." My excitement level is up here because of one of two reasons. One, right now I have a monitor over here that's out of frame. It's like a gaming monitor or whatever, and sometimes I use it with my MacBook. So I have this screen on my MacBook, and then I have my external screen. However, I can't take this whole setup and then go upstairs in my room with it. I have to physically leave it here because I'm not going to pick up the monitor and the computer and everything else and take it all upstairs. Sometimes I want to edit or I want to do things or I want to work in another room. With the Vision Pro and with those multiple windows and being able to stretch them out and make them as big as you want to, I could literally sit in my bed and have, let's say, just a trackpad and a keyboard, and I can look around. And then now I can have a window here, another window here, another window there. I could have essentially 3 monitors around me that I can multitask with and do all of that from my bed, from the back seat of an Uber, on a plane, in anywhere that's it's a small space and I don't have to carry all this physical equipment. The only thing I might need is maybe like an extra battery pack or just a larger capacity battery pack. But all I would need is the Vision Pro, the keyboard and the mouse, and I'm Gucci. Like, that is exciting to me. The other exciting thing to me is like the where you can switch from like the AR environment into full VR to where I could like fully immerse myself into a movie. Because to be really honest, it's been a really long time since I've been to the actual movie theaters, and I'm kind of waiting for like a Marvel movie that I'm really going to enjoy. But in the meantime, I would like to totally, have like a movie environment in like that virtual reality space and watch something on the size of a movie screen, but not have to own a movie screen, not have to um, do all of this other stuff that requires things or physical items. That's the part that I find really exciting. Now, yeah, you can do some of that stuff with the Meta Quest, and I get where people are going with like the price or whatnot. But Apple, in my opinion, as far as what we have available, and as far as the mix between luxury, convenience, but a bunch of tech, kind of has like the package that I want right now. Later on, something else could come out and I might be excited about that. But currently, the way it is, I got tons of ideas. Like, I've made a bunch of lists of writing stuff down, and that's where I'm gonna be making my videos and talking about, hey, you can do it for this, you can do it for that. And these are things that no one else has even brought up yet. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm just saying, like, I'm looking at this like, man, what if you use it for this? What if you use it for that? And the more I think about it, the more I get excited about it. Because essentially, I work a lot from my MacBook Pro. But if I don't have to take my MacBook Pro out the house, and it could just be the Vision Pro that I just take with me anywhere. Let's say I go on a road trip, right? Let's say I go down south and, visit my parents or do whatever else. I don't need to take a monitor. I don't need to take anything else out the house. Just need my keyboard, a trackpad, and a Vision Pro. And I could pack up and go. If I, for whatever reason, if I wanted to go to a park on a really, really, really nice day and just sit out there and work, and still have all of that screen, all the screen size and real estate and all that stuff, and still be able to see everything around me. And the only limitation is how much battery I have on the Vision Pro. Sign me up. I'll go sit in my backyard on a nice day and do that and not have to worry about the glare coming off of my MacBook Pro. Because if any of you have a laptop that has a MacBook Pro, or sometimes even if you have like a matte screen, you're worried about two things. You're worried about the brightness in direct sunlight, and you're worried about the glare that's coming off on your screen. I can go sit in the backyard, pull a chair out. I could be sitting there, drinking a beer or anything else, not worried about, spilling anything on anything, or it's all up here. Like, it's literally just all of this is just running through my brain of, oh, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. This will work, that'll work, that'll work, So, yeah, sorry I went a little too crazy with it, but it's literally like my brain right now. I want it to be next Friday already. I already want to have the pre-order in. I want to be good to go. I want to like literally knock that out. So that's literally what I'm excited about. Yo, Dimitri, what's going on? Are you ready for the S24? Hell no. I'm skipping the S24, man. I'm not even messing with it. Josh says, until they make a movie where someone makes an app that will kill the user if they take it off, then they take over the world, probably AI becoming sentient and taking over VR. So basically, that would be like The Ring, for those of you who remember. And The Ring was about if you put a videotape in, a VCR, you watched it, and in 7 days you'll die. So that's basically like The Ring, 2026. They probably could make that movie too. Josh says, I wouldn't be surprised at that movie plot once headsets are more mainstream. Yeah, I can see them doing that. Absolutely can see it. Ride with Tim says, my excitement is mobility. I'm going to be that guy in Starbucks with 9 windows open, sipping my latte. Hey, I say go for it. And the crazy part is that you, like I said, you can either do it in full VR where everything's blocked off. Hell, you could go to a library and go chill in a library seat and just be doing your thing, Get out the house, go somewhere, have some peace or some quiet and do that. Nothing wrong with that. Or, you could be in AR mode and you can still see everything else that's going on around you. And I know a lot of people looked at this as a gimmick, but I don't care anymore. Like, because people get ridiculous about that stuff. The fact, even if these are some digital fake eyes, as long as someone can see that you have some eyes and that you're paying attention, that's better than this. Like, it's totally better than that. But yeah, hey, oh, it's not even your real eyes. Make fun of. Well, at least you can tell where someone's looking. God damn it. Movie theaters are going to be completely out of business in 5 to 6 years. And the sad part is I kind of hate that because I used to love going to the movie theaters. The movie theaters were an experience for me. My only issue is not going to the movie theaters, is not even the expensive ass popcorn, or it's not even the arcades that are disappearing. It's the fact that you go to the movies and you pay almost $20 and then you watch 30 minutes worth of previews to watch a movie that lasts a minute and 47, or basically an hour and 47 minutes, and the movie is trash. That's my issue. Like, I remember the days where they had multiple blockbuster movies that came out that were fucking awesome. Like, straight up 100% ride or die movies. Now, I can just watch that at home. But at the same time, and I already said this before, there are some movies I want to watch on the Vision Pro and experience that through the Vision Pro. Even though I already seen these movies, I want to go back to the 80s sci-fi. I want to watch Back to the Future. I want to watch RoboCop again. I want to watch Predator. All of that sci-fi shit that was in the 80s, I want to watch it on the Vision Pro. I want to watch Top Gun 2, Top Gun Maverick Watch that. Enjoy that. I want to watch anime. I want to see anime on a 100-inch screen while I'm sitting inside of, Apple Yosemite or whatnot. I want to geek the hell out on that. Hell, I want to binge watch Big Bang Theory and enjoy that shit too. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that. Let's see. Imagine being able to sit in your current workspace with the Apple Vision Pro and setting up a mountaintop cafe environment or a let's see, a Parisian or part, yeah, Parisian sidewalk cafe. Wouldn't need to go anywhere at all. Just change your Apple Vision Pro environment. Yeah, and that helps with like cubicle syndrome and stuff because working in IT, I've worked in some jobs where you're basically in a cubicle, or I've been in offices where there are no windows. There's no windows. There's four walls. The lights are whatever phosphorescent yellow lights or whatever, and you're just like stuck in this box. And I would like to put on the Apple Vision Pro and be able to look out into the distance, even if it was even if it's artificial, look out into the distance and look around and see and have like a different scenery instead of being in the same box every single day, looking around at the same thing, doing the same old repetitive motions and stuff like that. So that would be cool. Bingo. Anthony's laughing his ass off. Right. I'd rather watch on Vision Pro, no previews in the comfort of my home. Absolutely. Even if it's just 30-second ads or whatever. People ruin movie theaters too. Now, I will say this. There are some people that ruin movie theaters, and there are some people that enhance movie theaters. And it's a very sweet art because sometimes some people's natural reactions to stuff, especially like horror movies, if you go into a horror movie and you got somebody that's like has like an obnoxiously loud voice and says the right thing, like you're watching the movie, the girl's going down the stairs, stuff's getting darker, it gets a little creepy, and you hear somebody, "Hey, don't take your ass in there, get the fuck out," like something like that, and everybody busts out laughing. Like, that is funny. But the stuff where people are going to the movie theater and they're like watching YouTube on their phone while they're watching the movie, or someone's talking on their phone too much, then yeah, that's terrible. Anthony says, all while being at home. Yeah. Like I said, I don't mind going out, but I want to bring some of the entertainment home too. Come on, Barbie was not a Golden Globe worthy. Hey, look, because I got HBO Max. I turned on HBO Max the other day and I saw like the Barbie movie up there, and I was like, you know what? I'll take a look, right? Because hey, you can't always, just downplay stuff and say it's gonna suck. I watched 10 minutes of the Barbie movie and I was like, I don't think this is for me. And I turned it right up. I would have been very like upset if I would have paid to go see it like in the movie theater. But since it was just on HBO Max, I was just like, well, yeah, no, I kind of walked away from it. But like I said, I got a lot of plans for the Vision Pro and what I'm gonna do. And this is just like the initial stuff. As time goes on, there's gonna be more things that come out. There's probably gonna be other things that come up. Um, One thing that I would really this is what I would like. This is what I would love to do with the Apple Vision Pro. In the summertime, when it's nice and warm outside, and I want to do some maintenance on my car, because back in the day when I used to do maintenance on my car, I used to do one of two things. I either used to prop my phone up somewhere in the engine bay, and I would pray that the phone wouldn't fall down, or I would prop up my laptop somewhere in the engine bay, and I would pray my laptop wouldn't fall down. I'd be on YouTube watching people do stuff step by step. Instead of doing that, put on the Vision Pro, pop the hood, click on YouTube and say, okay, how to replace the alternator on da 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 yada yada car and hit play. And as the video is going on, I have my tools in my hand. I can see the engine of my car, and I can look off to the side. I can turn my head and look at the video. I can use my hand, no controller, tap, hit pause, take my either the torque wrench or whatever tool I need, do the thing, take the part off, look, tap my finger, hit play. Okay, there's the next step on YouTube on what I'm supposed to do. Stop, do the thing while looking through the headset, and I don't have to skip a beat. There's another thing that you could do, right? Like imagine if you were learning to become a mechanic, right? And you wanted to be able to see somebody do something, but hold the tools in your hand at the same time and not have to worry about anything else going on around you. I think that would be absolutely cool. Ah man, she got you. She got you. See, Paul Revere says, I wonder if you can see your hands while in full immersive mode. So when you're in full immersion, I don't know. That's something that still we have to kind of wait and see, and I'll find that out in a little while or whenever it gets here. But that is a good question. I know you can see it in the AR mode, but I don't know about the full immersion mode. Uh, Wonder if Face ID requirement for pre-order is also meant to prevent bots. Yeah, we talked about that earlier, and that's like a like people were talking about it as a negative, but that's also like a hidden positive because if you got to use Face ID, how many fucking bots are going to be able to use Face ID? So that might help out a little bit with that too. Consumer Compute says, have any of you watched Oppenheimer and is it worth watching? I have not watched it yet. I will see if it's on HBO Max. I'm usually a fan of Christopher Nolan, so I might check it out. See, that kind of makes sense. Still not sure of the exact process. Buy it, then scan Face ID. Is that how it's gonna go? I just see a lot that could go wrong any other way. So what I believe should happen is this. I believe that you should go to the site. There should be check boxes. The first check box should say, do you have an iPhone and a what you call it nearby? You check the box saying yes. Then it asks you, do you need a prescription or not? If you don't need a prescription, you check the box. If you do need a prescription, or I'm sorry, if you need a prescription, you check the box. And if you check the box, it just continues to the next page. If you don't check the box and say you don't need it, then you can still go to the next page. There's the purchase process where you can purchase the device, you can pre-order it. Apple will scan your card to make sure that you have the funds there. And then you can go through the process of, hey, I need the lenses, or hey, I need the scan or whatnot. But I think it should come after the purchase, in my opinion. Because you can always cancel the order, you can always return it, this, that, or whatnot. But I think the payment part should come first and then the details. Josh says Oppenheimer was terrific. Okay, cool. Consumer Compute says, I wonder if you have to use Face ID because they're going to ship the Vision Pro out already programmed with your face so that you can see your eyes in the goggle on the outside. I don't know. I honestly, what I believe is what they could do is they could have units that are already preformed and set. Hold on, time out. TJ, no, turn that down. No, if you're gonna turn it all the way off, like turn it down. Get on the treadmill. Now, if you want to speed it up while you're on the treadmill, you can speed it up. Don't do not hop off of that treadmill while it's still going. You slow that thing down. Sorry, I had to do a little safety check with my kid. Let's see. If you're watching a movie in immersive mode, I will want to be able to see my hands if I'm eating or drinking something. Yeah, that makes sense. Maybe what it might do is it might show like at least the first, maybe within the first 2 feet or cut out. I don't know. That's interesting. I will have to try that out myself. But if I'm correct, you should be able to screen record in the Vision Pro, similar to how you can screen record on a Mac, on an iPad, or an iPhone. So I would definitely test that out. Anything Warren says Face ID to purchase will also prevent scalpers, in my opinion. Yeah. Honestly, seeing that news makes me more hopeful. And because anytime you put barriers to stuff, it makes it rewards the people that kind of go through those barriers. So first off, obviously the first barrier is you need to have the money. So that's one thing. Second barrier is you're going to need to have an Apple ID. You're going to need to have a Face ID device. So that's the other barrier. And then you think about, okay, how many people are going to have that set up? How many people are going to be willing to spend that money? And how many people are going to be able to do it at 8 o'clock in the morning or 5 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and all that stuff. So it's making me a little bit more hopeful of everything else. Ronald says, watched a few 360-degree videos on my phone earlier. I'm going to get lost on those once we have the headset. Yeah, there's going to be some videos I'm going to check out, and it's really going to be interesting. Like I said, let me see. But I think I'm gonna end the stream there. Everybody can go, check out Viper Stream. I kind of went over by a bit, but it was a nice, engaging discussion because sometimes what happens a lot is I'll this is not me trying to complain, but a lot of times I'll have people come in and they'll be like watching the stream in the background, and I'll be sitting there trying to think of like, all right, how can I kind of keep the stream going because I really don't have anything playing. I don't have like any articles, but you guys have been awesome tonight. You've kept the stream going with questions and comments and everything. So definitely 100% thank you guys for that. So I'm going to go ahead and head out. Been here for almost the length of a regular movie. So, hey, those you guys who come in and watch the replay, here we are. I'm sorry if I don't add any chapters, but it's been busy. But y'all take it easy. I'll see y'all in the next stream. Peace. Daddy.